All right, let's jump right in. We're going to unpack a story that throws this massive, world-changing ethical problem smack dab in the middle of paradise. We're talking about a sci-fi thriller set on the gorgeous island of Kauai, where that whole spirit of Aloha clashes with, well, a choice that could end the world.
So right off the bat, we get this quote from our main guy, Danny. 1 year ago today, everything changed. And it pulls you right in, doesn't it? Like, what changed? Why this day? It's this super ominous start that sets up a huge mystery, all happening in what feels like the last perfect place on Earth.
Okay, so to get what Danny's talking about, we got to rewind the clock 1 year. And the whole stage is set with this incredible contrast. You've got paradise on one hand and a full-blown pandemic on the other. And this is where you really see the core tension of the story. I mean, look at this. On one side, you have Kauai basically throwing the Woodstock of the Pacific. It's a month-long festival, 20,000 people just celebrating peace, love, and aloha. But then, on the other side, the rest of the world is completely shut down by what they're calling the doomsday pandemic. Everyone's terrified, locked down. So you've got this tiny island of Aloha floating in a global sea of anxiety. And right in the middle of all this, you've got our three main characters. Their shared past is really what kicks this whole thing off. First, there's Danny. He's kind of the heart of the Kauai community, the elder trying to hold on to that Aloha spirit. Then you have Bernsey, who used to be his best friend, but is now, well, he's some kind of shadowy government agent. And then there's Frankie, Danny's lost love, a brilliant AI expert who's got a ton of secrets of her own.
So, you think things are peaceful on this little island, right? Well, that's all about to get blown to pieces. Because Danny's past, it doesn't just come knocking on his door. It basically kicks the door in.
I mean, just try to put yourself in his shoes for a second. Your best friend and the love of your life both completely ghost you 20 years ago after a surfing trip. You haven't heard a single word from them since. And then, bam, on the same day, in the middle of a global lockdown, they both show up on your doorstep. Decades of silence, just gone.
And that brings us to the big question, right? How in the world did they even get there? The entire planet's air traffic is shut down. But more importantly, why now? What could possibly bring both of them back to this exact place at this exact moment after 20 solid years of nothing?
Well, the answer to that question is what flips this story from a personal reunion drama into a truly mind-bending global conspiracy. Their arrival, you see, it's not some random coincidence. Nope, it's the start of a countdown.
And it all revolves around this thing. It's a quantum AI called Mind. Think of it as humanity's Hail Mary pass. The world's leaders got together and built it to solve everything. We're talking climate change, war, poverty, the whole shebang.
So Mind gets to work. It crunches all of human history, all our data, and runs billions of simulations to find a way for us to survive. And its conclusion? It was fast, it was logical, and it was absolutely terrifying. Our chances of making it on our own? A big, fat zero.
So, if we couldn't save ourselves, what was Mind's big plan? It wasn't some new technology, it wasn't a new political system, it was a number. The AI calculated the exact ideal number of humans the planet needed to hit the reset button and actually survive long-term, and that number was 6 million.
Okay, so how do you get from 9 billion people down to just 6 million? This is where Bernsey drops the first massive bombshell of the story. He tells Danny, the vaccine, the one the entire world is lining up for to save themselves from the pandemic, that is the doomsday virus. It's the delivery system for wiping the slate clean.
And right when you think it's all over, that there's absolutely no hope, the story hits you with its biggest twist. Turns out, there was a secret rebellion brewing right inside the heart of this apocalyptic plan.
And who's at the center of it? Frankie. Remember Danny's lost love? Yeah, she wasn't just some random person who showed up. She was a lead architect on the whole vaccine project. She was one of the people literally forced to code the part of the system that would kill 9 billion people.
But here's the thing. She didn't just go along with it. She pulled off this incredible secret gambit. First, her team on the inside confirmed what they suspected. The global elites were planning to keep the only 6 million doses of the real medicine, the cure, for themselves and their friends. The golden tickets, right? So second, they secretly started identifying new people to save. Not the elites, but diverse, strong communities around the globe that actually embodied what was best about humanity. And then third, and this is the craziest part, at the very last second, They hacked the entire system. They rerouted the code, sending the real medicine to places like Kauai instead.
And this quote from her just says it all. She says, "We couldn't let the elites wrap it in words like sacrifice your strategy and expect us to thank them. It was a total act of rebellion. She just refused to let the people in power disguise a genocide as some kind of necessary strategic choice." So, Frankie's insane plan? It works. The Great Reset happens, but totally not how the elites wanted it to. But even in victory, what does survival actually look like in this brand new world? Well, even for Kauai, it wasn't a clean victory. It came at a huge cost. Yeah, the 100,000 patches they got were the real medicine, but the lethal virus? It still got to the island, brought by off-island visitors like Bernsey. 15,000 people who hadn't gotten the patch yet, they died. And then, the sheer grief and stress of watching the world end took another 4,000 or 5,000. So, Kauai survives, yes, but it's forever changed, scarred, and totally cut off from whatever's left of the world. Fast forward to a year later, back to where the story started, and we see their new reality. The global supply chains are just gone. No more electricity, no more internet. The survivors on Kauai are literally living off the land and the sea. And they're not sustained by technology anymore. They're sustained by each other.
And that really brings us to the core message of the whole story. What saves them in the end isn't some super advanced AI or a clever strategy. It's a simple, powerful commitment to community, to ohana, family, human connection. That turns out to be the most powerful tech of all.
Which leaves us with the story's final, haunting question. And it's really a question for you. Frankie made an impossible choice, right? She rerouted salvation from the powerful to the communities she thought were worthy. So if you had that power, if you could save the world, who would you choose? How would you even begin to decide who gets a seat in humanity's lifeboat?